going to start this chapter off by showing the throttle. The throttle is installed and hooked up to the steam dome. Next, we're going to install the safety valves. These valves are set to 90 psi. So if the boiler pressure gets over 90 psi, these will pop off and relieve the boiler of any excess pressure. There are two safety valves that come with this locomotive. One of them kind of acts as a fail-safe. They'll both pop off at 90 psi, but if one of them decides not to, well, you still have the other one for a backup. And now it's time to lower the Cosmetic steam dome over the operable steam dome. This steam dome easily weighs 30 pounds. It's a very heavy cast. I'm also really impressed with the quality. I've worked on quite a few steam domes. I really appreciate the weight and the girth of this particular part. And here's the fun part. These parts are 100% cosmetic, but add a lot of flair and a lot of love to the locomotive. The front boiler plate, very important, finishes the locomotive, and I'm really happy with what they have here. As you can see, it didn't take much at all to get it on. 2 bolts hold it in place on the side of the smoke box. Attaching the water feed from the tender to the steam locomotive. Negotiating the 3 hoses around the different eye hooks and hitch was a little bit tricky. I'm taking some pretty sharp turns on this layout, so I need a lot of flex in the tubes in order to achieve a good water flow source. I ended up shortening the left-hand tube here a little more after the test. Now it's on to attach the 2 right-hand side water feeds. I actually ran out of tubing, so you only see one being attached. These hoses apply to 3 major functions: water feed, bypass, pump, and flow. There's a bypass valve on the locomotive that's attached to the axle pump. When the locomotive is in motion, one can turn the bypass off, thus feeding the boiler with water. When you turn the bypass on, the water is then injected back into the tender's water storage reservoir. I also went ahead and reversed the polarity of the tubing, so when the locomotive buckles to the left, it won't get all kinked up. And while the locomotive and tender were outside, I went ahead and took a couple beauty shots. Check it out. Waiting on a hand pump that goes inside of the tender, but I think by next chapter we'll have her under steam. Thanks for tuning in, and always, keep steaming.